And now, I'm saying it here on the Pat McAfee show, got to put Steph Curry in there.
Being on the court during that game, I was like, damn, like, we might lose. And then it's like this switch just goes off in the huddle. It's like, nah, we got him.
Like I said, to me, greatest point guard.
NBA players can't help talking about Steph Curry. Not just because he's the league's golden child or because he's the greatest shooter. They also often talk about him because of his personality on and off the court. And today, we'll show you how NBA players actually feel about Steph Curry. And first off, we start with a player who almost broke Steph Curry's shoulders in a game.
For these two teams so far, we're not even at the halfway point of the game, and there's another one, an offensive foul right back at you. Curry takes the contact from Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart is not just any defender. He's a defensive player of the year. He built his reputation on being physical, disciplined, and mentally locked in on every possession. He has guarded elite scorers in the biggest moments, including Steph Curry in the finals. And even he admits that guarding Steph feels different.
You know, the way that he's able to affect the game by able to run around and play off the ball and get himself open. And it's just tough on a defender because you can't take a break. You know, the instance you think that he's not doing anything, the play's over for him. And that's when you get beaten, that's when you get burnt, and that's when that mentality comes in and you gotta stay ready, you can't get...
With most players, there are moments to recover. You can relax for a second when they give up the ball. You can reset your position and prepare for the next action. But with Steph, that moment only comes when he's out injured. Luckily for his opponents, he's been out for months, so they've had time to rest easy. But just before the playoffs, he came back against Kevin Durant and the Rockets and had KD saying this.
We had the game in control, then they put them 30 in the game, and he got him back into it so easily. You know, he makes shots so quickly, and he looked incredible after a couple months off.
Got it back, 3 to shoot, deep one for Curry. Oh yeah, he's back. Now they're matched up. And it's Curry looking to put the moves, and he does with a hesitation, and the finish!
Indeed, he's back and still performing at an unreal level. Because when you watch him long enough, you start to realize that what he's doing doesn't follow the same rules as everyone else. Because what Durant is describing isn't supposed to happen. A player coming back after months away from the game is supposed to ease into rhythm. They're supposed to take time to adjust. Steph doesn't do that. He comes back and immediately shifts the entire game. The energy changes, the defense tightens, and suddenly, a lead that felt safe doesn't feel safe anymore. And while this is a problem for opponents, here's Steve Kerr loving what he saw from Steph even though they lost.
I loved the performance of our team, and it felt right again. You know, that's the impact Steph has. He kind of makes everything right.
And yet, not everyone would use the word right to describe what Curry does on the basketball court. Steph's teammate, Kristaps Porzingis, used a different word to describe what Steph does.
Steph, just watching him from outside, he's unreal.
And that's the thing about going from an opponent to being Steph Curry's teammate. From the outside, he feels impossible to deal with. From the inside, he feels impossible to explain. And that's why the word you hear over and over again when players talk about Steph isn't just great, it's unreal. But as unreal as he may be on the court, he maintains relationships with even competitors of the court. You see, what makes Steph Curry's situation unique is that the players competing against him don't just fear him, they also genuinely like him. And one good example of that is Anthony Edwards. He's one of the most confident young stars in the league, someone who isn't afraid of any moment or any opponent. And recently, in a game against the Warriors, he hit a tough shot and stared directly at Steph Curry on the bench.
It's relocating right in front of Steph Curry. Steph Curry just has to roll his eyes. Yes.
That's pure competition. That's a young star trying to make a statement against one of the greatest players ever. But then, after the game, when the emotions settle and the moment passes, you hear something completely different.
What have you built with him?
And my boy, yeah, love Steph. Love everything about him. Like I said, to me, greatest point guard. So, yeah, just love to play against him. If he's not playing, talk a little trash to him on the side.
That's the duality of Steph Curry. You want to compete with him, you want to beat him, and you even want to test yourself against him in those moments. It's in those moments you find players like Jeremiah Fears who say this.
My favorite player growing up was definitely Steph Curry, but I mean, I don't have one anymore because we don't be competing against them, so.
Surprisingly, for all of Curry's competitive energy, it turns out he doesn't know a lot of rap.
So it was fun.
What have you learned about him as a guy?
I mean, he's super cool. He actually don't know a lot of rap music.
Ant-Man obviously knows a lot more rap music, but when it's time to wrap up a game, everyone knows who they're calling. Just ask Bam Adebayo about the Olympics game against Serbia.
Being on the court during that game, I was like, damn, like, we might lose. And then it's like this switch just goes off in the huddle. It's like, nah, we got him.
That's how much of a difference maker Curry is. In fact, he's so different that James Harden doesn't consider him a human to be counted among humans with the most three-pointers.
You're 34 three-pointers away from being number 2 all time in three-pointers made. It's Steph Curry and you.
Listen here, I'm gonna consider myself number 1. Steph don't count.
That's not just a joke. That's an acknowledgement that Steph exists in a different category entirely. A category where normal comparisons don't really apply anymore. And if there's someone in this generation who fits such a category, the category of players who changed everything, Steph Curry is that man. Since coming into the league, beating the injuries, and establishing himself in the NBA, Steph Curry has dominated the game like few people can. Post-traumatic Steph disorder is a real thing, and many NBA defenders who have been dealing with it will once again experience it during the playoffs. But on the opposite side of the PTSD are the young guys and fans watching Curry solidify his legacy. These guys completely fell in love with the man and the legend that Steph Curry has become. One of them is Quincy Olivari.
It's crazy because I've liked him since I was in like 6th grade. Like, it was, I don't even know what to say, man, because like that's my favorite player ever. And the first thing he told me was like, I'm a big fan of your game. And like, truth be told, I'm a big fan of him. You know, like I had his jersey. He signed it twice. I used to sleep under that jersey.
How often do you see an NBA player get this emotional about another man? Like, even his parents know what Curry means to him.
He gave me a pair of his shoes and signed them. Like, that meant the world to me, man. Like, my dad knows, my mom knows. Like, it just means a lot. And like, I don't know. It just means a lot.
That's how many young NBA players actually feel about Steph Curry. But when that kind of impact keeps showing up over and over again, even the critics eventually have to change their stance. Shaquille O'Neal was not always a believer in Steph Curry. There was even a time he accused Steph of ruining the game. But over time, that opinion changed.
Rather than just going Mike and LeBron, which is fine, it's your choice, got to put Kobe in there. Put him in the conversation. And now, I'm saying it here on the Pat McAfee show, got to put Steph Curry in there. Hell yeah.
That's one of the most dominant players in NBA history, adjusting his own list to include Steph. And when you add that to what other superstars are already saying, the picture becomes even clearer.
All-time great, the greatest ever at his position. Top 5 in the world, top 5 ever.
That's just how many NBA players actually feel about Steph Curry. Steph Curry has done it all on the basketball court. He has done it for himself, for the franchise, for the country, and even for family.
It was a great moment. We got there on the same floor for the first time since high school. Was special for us, special for the family. So
he has changed so much of the game that when you really listen to how NBA players talk about him, you'll see a pattern. The defenders talk about exhaustion. Superstars talk about disbelief. Young players talk about growing up watching him. And legends talk about placing him among the greatest ever. But if you want to know the one game Steph Curry made NBA players fear him, click the video on your screen.